Tyloo strikes first, but on a much more comfortable map. It's LG that leveled this series at 1, convincingly as well, as they dominated the first half 11-4 and closed it out 16-7. But Tyloo's still in this. We've got one more map. It's on Inferno. Good execution map for LG, but again, another map we don't know much about Tyloo.
Another defensive map for them to show us what they can do with this kind of passive holds and crossfires coming in with their shoulders and cobble. So I'm interested to see, like, it's another map we haven't really seen at all from Tyloo, so what could be in store for us?
Well, in the map pool that they've played, the 3 maps they played the most were Inferno, Dust 2. I forget the third, doesn't matter, but Inferno was in there.
Yeah, okay.
That's the point.
Wow.
So they are familiar on this map.
That's good news then for them, seeing as they're going up against Luminosity on it. That's going to help. So, although the second map was a bit of a bloody affair for them, they did win the first, like you said, on Cash. That was actually very impressive for them to come back. They did maybe 6 rounds in a row to finish things off at the end. So we'll see what they can do on Inferno. I have to say it's another map where I do heavily favour Luminosity going into it, just based on what I haven't seen from Tyloo. So it's very difficult to tell what they can bring to the table here.
I tend to agree with you. I mean, look, the cool thing with Luminosity is they always find ways to do things slightly differently. You know, we talk about execution teams. We talked about, you know, strategies, the wall of smokes that Na'Vi coined on Mirage, which was then used by Luminosity as Kaboom last year. The one that they have on this map is the 3 Molotovs set up for Orange's, New Box, well, both Oranges, Oranges 1 and 2, and New Box. So to clear out B, when they walk in, it's less angles they have to hold. They don't have to cover over. They don't have to swing their guns from water back that direction. They can focus on spools. They can focus on emo, and they clear the B site really quickly. So keep an eye on that. Now, that said, they haven't been using it as much. They have been working A picks more than anything, but if they don't find the picks, I guarantee they go to that strategy a few times. We'll have to see if Tyloo are aware of it.
Well, we will be going into the knife here. I'd say it'd be very beneficial for Tyloo to try and win this one, get that CT side, see if they can get some strong arms here in the first half. And like you said, LG, very good hybrid team. They have tons of strategies in terms of executions and stuff, are very good and very efficient of slowing things down and working those picks, especially with players like coldzera and Fallen finding them the frags. My friend will be ending here. Oh, the little cheer as well. LG win the knife, enjoying themselves. It's quite cool. Have you noticed every time Tyloo get a kill any round, you can hear them all like shouting since they get it. It's kind of brings it a little bit more hype. Every single kill, I'm not even talking about a round. Every kill they get, they start shouting.
It's like Splice, but I guess Splice is more round-based.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I don't have a Splice tattoo right now.
You wanted to get one?
Debatable.
You were trying your hardest.
I don't think I really was. I mean, I took a pretty safe bet. Yanko would have got one with me, so.
Fair enough. That would have been excellent.
Maybe we could have done it really romantic-like, where I get half the S on my arm and he gets the other half, and we put them together. It's the full Splice logo.
That'd be quite cool, actually.
Don't ever say that again. It would not be, but again, Knife went to LG. They're going to start CT side. It's a momentum-based map. Utility is important, so watch the economy. Make sure they can get rolling.
Indeed. We're going to the third and final map here. Tyloo versus Luminosity. Luminosity starting on the CT side here. We'll see the buys coming in for both teams. Actually, quite a slow buy. No one's committing just yet. We can see Tyloo getting 2 sets of armor for now. 3, 4. Fancy one does have the smoke and 2 flashbangs here, so we'll see how they decide to approach the situation. Similar scenes for Luminosity as well. 1 defuse kit and a couple of flashbangs for Fallen. The rest of his teammates on towards that body armor as well. Doesn't look like they'll be committing towards any sort of real aggression here. Further spot towards middle. Actually looking like a heavy B-sided attack from Tyloo, committing all 5 players to this side of the map as well. They do spot a player towards the corner, and now going to be forcing their way into the side as well.
Fallen falls away from this. Has to on spools. It gives it to Cole to do the damage, and that means Fallen can try and get back into this, but he's watching to make sure they didn't push through that smoke. He's still waiting for a flank inside of construction, as Fur's going to try and do the same. A flank from Banana drops the bomb down. But they're still in a disadvantaged situation, more so as it goes to 4 versus 2. They catch Fur out re-peeking. And Didi in the corner awkwardly misses the first shot, but FNX will drop. And it's Taco versus 4. So Tyloo looking to get things rolling again. Watch the economy on the CT side. So this is an excellent start for Tyloo.
Yeah, simple B play there, committing everyone towards that side of the map. Push the CDs back. And as they're readjusting themselves, they swarm the bomb site and find those first kills. Just to note, though, I've never seen sensitivity this high on any team ever in Counter-Strike. I was watching DD there, I was watching on my screen. Like, he must be on like 6 sends or something like that. It's unbelievable how like fast he's moving around. It looks like the almost Go TV can't keep up with him.
Yeah, he was twitchy. There was a moment in the underpass on overpass that it was actually kind of twitchy as well. Yeah, I mean, it is an interesting note.
Very cool.
Precision.
Anyway, 1-0 in favor of Tyloo now. They will be going for 3 rifles, 2 SMGs, one of those are Mac 10. That's going to be on towards Mo. Of course, Luminosity force buying into this one. As we hit round number 2, they're going to have upgraded pistols, of course, and 3 sets of head armor. The CZs can be very efficient on this map. That's going to be ordered by FNX and coldzera. No real stack here. We have got one player towards the B side. That's Fallen. Just trying to gain as much intel as he can towards the top of B there. Call for rotations nice and early. But Tyloo slowing things right down now. Let's go to see any utility that the CTs do have. Bleed them out. Work together. Let's take over middle. Choose a site. Should be a pretty simple affair for this.
So see if the setup works. With these 4 players over toward the A side, 2 of which inside of it, FNX and Fur, but right now it's Tyloo that's looking to put the pressure onto Banana and Fallen. Gonna fall back with the P250.
Yeah, so he had spotted them in the corner there, so you can see the rotations coming in. Yeah, we've got Cold Zero coming from Spawn. This should be a very simple round here for Tyloo.
Yeah, he's smoked off already Cold, so Fallen's not gonna peek. He's gonna wait to try and get a shot, but goes for the first one. That gives somebody who's close up the information, then they turn back, Fancy finds Cold, and like you say, pretty straightforward at this point. Best they can do is just drop a few guns out of the hands of Tyloo.
Yeah, they just chose the correct bomb site there. FNX does find a kill on towards somebody, so something to work with here. They haven't managed to pick up the weapon just yet. Attacker does take them down though eventually. Fur on low HP as well. So they'll probably be saving their head armor at this stage. They have got the upgraded pistols as well. Attacker finds the CZ, changing from his PT50. So I'd say that's probably the most viable option for them at this stage. Fur going down to low HP. Just going to be trying to hunt them down here. As the terrorists decide to exit out of the bomb site. So 2-0. And we did see that A stack coming in from Luminosity. But as soon as they decided to go towards B, that was it. They couldn't really do much about it. Fallen had to find at least one frag there to even make it viable to retake. Didn't happen. Tyloo swarmed the bomb site. And this is a great start for them. Exactly what they needed. Keeping 4 players alive in this round as well. Money's starting to build up. We go to number 3. This should be the full eco coming in from Luminosity now, so you can almost guarantee this will be a 3-0 in favor of Tyloo. But I guess you never know with Luminosity. We did see it.
Yeah, you don't. You really don't. That's the thing.
They've saved 2 sets of head armor here, so Taco and Fur with 5.7s and CZs as well, so there's something there. Not much, but something.
Fancy gonna go up toward alt mid right now. Mo bottom of mid itself with the bomb, but Fur and Taco pushing down apartments. They don't look like they're gonna stop. Fur's gonna get toward the bedroom. Taco's gonna peek the bottom of the stairs. They could have caught off Fancy right now. He's still gonna go toward the smoke at the top of middle, and Taco has crossed over. He's gotten over to the T sides of apartments, so watch for him to go for exit kills, maybe pick up an AK. Again, we talked about stabilizing that CT economy on round 3. That's his chance to do so, but Cold, FNX, they get kills each. Attacker has to get Cold back, but it does give FNX that rifle. And Taco waiting at the bottom of Banana. If FNX can find one more kill and shuffle them that way on exit, there could be a chance to pick up another gun. So the round is going to go to Tyloo. They get the bomb down, but look for the placement of LG on these exits.
Well, we talked about it before on the previous map. Forcing up on the CT half on the second round does affect the economy going forward. So if FNX can save his AK-47, it helps build the money up a little bit more. They do drop tack. If he didn't have the rifle, though, it's going to be FNX trying to save his AK. So if just saving this AK is actually very beneficial towards him actually going into the first gun round here. So this is a good decision, trying to stay alive. Did manage to find 2 kills and save an AK as well, considering the buy. That's absolutely fine. But it will be 3-0 in favor of Tyloo. And currently have a Mac 10 as well, so I'll be interested to see what somebody decides to do with that weapon going to the next one. Maybe trying to keep it. Some Jaden-esque moments coming forward, perhaps. What do you think?
That's not the full, because they do have to buy up.
That's why I said Jaden-esque.
That's true. I get you. You are correct, Henry.
And they're going to drop it, so...
There you go.
3-0. Tyloo now going into round number 4. Fallen has got the AWP, but it's a very difficult buy for Luminosity. They have got the smokes and rifles, but only 1 kit. And Fallen with no utility towards the B side. Here we go for the aggressive peek here.
He's just going to hold the corner as well, get that information, look to fall back. Cold is there, so they can shuffle out with the rifle if they do start to push onto his position. No smoke for Fallen, but Cold has one, and we know that they're easy to deploy over toward that B site from A. But right now, fast execution out of apartments. The flash comes in. Taco's only able to get 1. It's traded. And as such is the case for FNX, not only that, they found Fur, the last player on that site. So first gun round, and Tyloo's got a major advantage by putting down that bomb.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a 3-on-2 now with a full retake coming in. No kits for the remaining CTs. They're trying to make their way around quad as well. Fallen trying to get that first pick with the AWP, but looks like Tyloo not giving anything away in this scenario. Bomb ticking away now. Cold Zero needs to make his next move.
And the default smokes go in front of library, so they're stuck on the other side of them. Somebody pushes through, wants the information. Cold gets the shot. but they've already gotten to the save. So Tyloo's going to go up 4 rounds at the start of Inferno on the T side again. This is very impressive.
Yeah, it's a perfect call. They're going for something very fast and sticking together when the CDs are potentially low on money as well, considering after that force by in the second. So Fallen, he was committed towards the B side, didn't find anything for it. The fast play from Tyloo, they get those initial frags. You heard them screaming every single kill they got. And they're going to go 4-0 here in the third and final map. This is a very strong chance for them, but the problem is they've left one of the world's best snipers with that weapon in hand. The fact he has the AWP gives him potential to force into this one. So they will be coming in with Mag 7s, Famis's, an M4, and of course Fallen's AWP. Here we're going back towards the B-bomb site with himself and Cold Zera, and we'll see whether he has a chance to find that first pick. There's that one-way smoke for himself towards the car.
Fallen. Just barely can see through the edge of that smoke.
That's a really tight angle. Does start to clear up now, but
somebody going to walk in with Mo toward the apartments. Taco's fallen off this slightly, playing from the balcony. He's going to fall back to Graveyard as well, but FNX pushed forward, so this is a little bit tight. There's no one in pit directly. Thankfully, Taco's thought better of that and gone over to the more fortified position. But again, those splashes so well timed. They're going to get out onto the balcony. FNX better angle to cover it this time, and Taco not blinded. Still does go down. There's a lot of pressure on FNX. Shot from the rotation toward Library. That's Fur. He's traded, but still FNX in the sight. Cold, able to clean it up because FNX does such a good job of staying alive.
A more fast, simple plays from Tyloo. Smoke towards the end of the balcony, trying to flash their way out, but the crossfire is very strong for Luminosity this time, holding from the pit and the site, making sure they're all ducking and weaving to attract the attention from Tyloo. Unable to get the return frags there, and Luminosity get their first round on the board. So still in a difficult position. The money's not fantastic whatsoever, but Tyloo will be forcing into this one. Fancy's going to be on towards the CZ. The rest of his teammates will have AKs and utility as well. So we'll see what they bring to the table this round. They have got the aggression once more. Fallen this time will be towards the top of the middle. So adjusting their setup here slightly. Smoking down towards the bottom of Banana, taking away that control from Tyloo. And they still have 4 smokes remaining as well. So you'd assume they're going to try and hold on to Banana as long as they possibly can here. Second smoke gets deployed now.
Fur at the bottom of the stairwell has good forward stance that can actually lend itself to putting 2 players over the arch side rather than holding on to A so tightly. They'll give them the rotation back to B a little bit quicker if they do elect to go that position, but Fur, very aggressive, gets to the T side of apartments instead. Hasn't spotted anyone yet, but he's going to get traded. Attacker just happens to pop out, happens to be in those hallways still. And as soon as he takes down Mo, he's gone.
Considering the situation, the time remaining, that's not very beneficial towards Luminosity whatsoever. They've now lost a man, and Inferno's on his maps. If you're spread thin across the bomb sites, it can be very hard to hold. 4-on-4 now favors the terrorists. And
this is a huge round for Luminosity to win as well.
Yeah, of course, and the smokes have been expended towards B as well. It's just going to be Cold Zera there by himself. He has got a flashbang in hand, just hoping to delay and calling for his teammates here. He's not going to go for a frag whatsoever. Drops a flash. Now he's calling for rotation, so best he could have done.
Double flash. He's got toward oranges too. They're going to check this. They know he's gone on the site. Who's going to go first? Go slow. DD, don't shoot yet. Does. And DD gets the shot back and instead, has fallen. Has to hold the long angle from the CT spawn. Gap in the smoke, but they've already crossed that. So bomb goes down. Taco, he's already quickly on the construction position. Does he get taken down back through the smoke? No. Good play as he gets a kill and fades. And now he can buy space for his teammates to get closer to the site. And Fallen's going to wait with that angle on the AWP. Still not sure if they're going to be flanked out, but as he sits and waits, somebody does peek. And they don't need to do that again. Tyloo, just sit, hold the angles, and it's going to be Fancy that does that. FNX walks out from construction, back to the 2 versus 2. Single kit, only in the hands of Taco. And this bomb's been ticking for a while. Again, Luminosity, such a desperate situation. Attacker not spotted at Emo. Goes for the late peek. Taco gets the shot. No, it's fallen over his shoulder. But now it's just down to Taco. And Fancy's going to clutch it out.
Fantastic stuff there from Tyloo. You have to say, from Luminosity, it was actually working as a disadvantage to them, having that banana control for so long. They used all their smokes at the beginning of the round. 3 of them expended at the start, trying to hold that banana control. But once the round had ticked away and Tyloo holds strong and actually found that first frag, they slowed things right down, went towards the B side. Cold Zera, all he had to hold them off was 2 flashbangs. Couldn't really do anything about it. He went down without any frags being exchanged, and now that's a full reset for Luminosity. They go into the next one. They actually have forced into this match. So CZ's head armor. This could potentially be 6-1 in favour of Tyloo on the T side of Inferno in our third and final map here. This is actually very exciting stages. Imagine the current major champions potentially going out to Tyloo as complete underdogs.
And the semi-finalists.
Yeah.
At that as well. I mean, Luminosity, this reset mid-half gives Tyloo such a... I mean, we mentioned it. You need smoke bangs. Look, smoke bangs. That's old school.
Smoke bangs.
The old school meta right there, smoke bangs. You need smokes and flashbangs to hold them off on the CT side. And with this in the middle of the half, it's just going to be such a hard hard challenge for them to even claw back in. And Tyloo gets the first kill again. Attacker finds Taco Fur, bottom of the stairwell, gets the shot, falls away, and guess what? They're already at the top of middle. Nowhere for him to run to.
The thing is, as well, they were going to be double eco anyway. They only get $1,900 next round, so they're trying to do what they can with these CZs. You can see Fallen now and FNX, both on very low HP indeed, and that's going to be Tyloo going up 6-1 here, potentially 7-1 after the next round. Cold Zero with the AK-47, you'd assume he's going to try and save that. He needs something to work with here, so I think all the CTs will try and save their body armor and upgraded pistols here, but 6-1. Still early stages here. There's obviously a lot of opportunity to bounce back. That AK and saved armor does help. And the cash for Tyloo isn't amazing itself, so they'll be being a little bit more defensive here. They want to throw these weapons away and keep their money strong themselves. But this is a very promising start indeed. That reset came in at the perfect time for Tyloo. You see now somebody, even with 6 HP on that UMP, wants to see what he can do. See if he can find that next kill. Not meant to be, I don't think.
So Tyloo showing off skill first in this game. We talked about Luminosity at the map pool. We thought this might favor them, but again, Tyloo, they're familiar with Inferno, very familiar with Inferno. They're going to leave somebody onto the UMP. It's going to be 4 AKs. We haven't seen Fancy go for that AWP, but it's just Mag 7, AK from Fur that's saved, and then 3 CZ75s. This is outrageous.
There's another force spike having in that.
This is outrageous indeed. And Fur with the only rifle gets aggressive, only able to take 1. Massive damage done though. Cold follows it up, but it's traded, and now B's open. They have to rotate. If he could have gotten more on those sprays, those pesky pillars in front of him denying that possibility, it might have been doable with that AK. Taco's going to go for the flank, but it's a Mag 7 when he pushes through that smoke. It's such a long position to hold.
He's got that Mag 7. This could actually be massive.
They go back toward him, interestingly. That's a shot and a half right there from somebody.
Okay. This is out to get very interesting indeed. We have got one player. It's going to be FNX. Low HP players in front of him. Finds the first headshot as well. 2-on-2. Does get the advantage here. Tyloo now have a position to actually plant the bomb. Need to work out whether there's be another player near them.
This is aggressive from FNX. Fallen just gets out of Banana now, and FNX has already gone back out Boiler Door and into a position to peek, but he's picked up the AK, as has Fallen. Hence why he rotated that position toward Banana, so he could get the gun. And they both have armor, but they don't have kits, and Mo is inside of the pit. He can play behind that statue so well, and time is peaks. Attacker doesn't need to do that either. Doesn't need to peek. He can just sit inside, get the information, but FNX over top of the box finds him. Traded. Mo finds Fallen. That's the refrag. 1 versus 1. Smoke off, so Mo's not going to have position on that bomb, but he has position to FNX, who pushes through.
That's so huge. The 2-on-2 not working out for Luminosity once more, and Tyloo go up 7-1 here. I think the pause is coming in for Luminosity. They keep force buying these situations. It's not working out for them. The money now at Thursday Lost Spin is only getting $2,400, and what a play that was.
I don't know why FNX pushes this, because the bomb's in behind the box in the corner. He could have actually tapped that and forced him out.
He's got no kit, right? It's very difficult. You have to make a decision. He thought he was behind the pillar. He's like, he probably had vision. If you're from that pillar side, and you're looking from the
I guess if
he's fence, you probably can see him.
Yeah, on the fence you might have been able to.
And obviously it's a spammable box as well. It's not like he would have survived. So this is massive. This is Tyloo now with Luminosity with 2 force buys in a row, coming down to a 1v1 then. That was a big round for Tyloo to win. Luminosity presumably have to eco this one. They can't force again. They can't allow this money situation to run out of control. So I think this is a good time to take the time out, calm down. It will go to 8-1, but Luminosity, we know how strong they are. Current world champions will just be able to stabilize the money. Oh, what's going on here? Fur's coming in with an MP9. Okay.
This is not the discipline we're used to seeing. I did. Luminosity are... If they win this game, it's going to be very hard. I mean, Tyloo is in the full control of this right now.
It's great individual skill and good fundamentals and working trades and actually pushing the CTs back, and simple executions are working out for them. Just raw aim. We talked about it before, that high sensitivity, twitch play. Very impressive so far. And there's good clutches as well. They seem to be the masters of crossfires in any scenarios. They're actually working out and taking attention away from CTs, and great comms, finding them frags in these key rounds. We're going to number 9 now. A round you'd assume is going in favor of Tyloo to win in the half at least. Fur has invested in towards the MP9. The rest of his teammates on PT50s. We have 15 seconds left of this pause. No warps whatsoever, Tyloo. Sticking with the 5 AKs, I think that's fine. The money's not actually that strong considering how many rounds they've won. All these rounds have come down to very close situations and lots of clutches, but they're coming out on top every single time.
Stunned Luminosity. Top of the world a week ago. This would be a fall from grace. This would be a dent in the ego. Definitely take their swagger away a little bit. I mean, how would you feel if you were at top of the world and then you lose in this fashion? Sure, you're still the major champion, but kind of takes away that emotion a little bit. We'll see if Tyloo can finish it. 7-1 the lead for MP9. We said this unorthodox buy. Deep smoke, he's going to get aggressive again. This time he has made it into the lower part of Banana. The pillars won't be a problem, but it is an MP9 and not an AK. Tyloo slowed things down at the top of middle with the smoke out. Fancy on top of the ledge, going to try and spray in toward that bedroom position, make sure there's no one else pushed up. They know the situation. They know the money's low.
Well then, CT's 4-man towards the A site. We have got Fur. He's the player with the MP9 alone on that banana area, trying to get a little bit aggressive here. Once again, just trying to face out and see if he can call for early rotations with that pixel peak. As looking like Tyloo will be sticking together, splitting towards middle here. Smoke's gone down towards the outside, throwing out quad. They have lost some control here. Damage exchange. Fallen takes himself down to 65 HP. He gets shot through the smoke there. That's Tyloo still have tons of time here and all their utility. They'll probably just stick together, just work out every single possible scenario where a CT could be and work the refrags.
Yeah, there's a problem. If they get Fallen, there's a chance they rotate toward B against these pistols, but they don't know if there's a stack. They don't know the read. Fallen's going to fall away toward Library. They're actually going to commit to this. And the smoke out nade in from Attacker. I'd call Kobe, but he retired. We'll come up with something else for that one, as Attacker's going to go ahead and take down Cold Zero as well. Look at the HP, though. It's so low, but they find FNX. And Fur's got an MP9. If he can find Attacker and Fancy fast enough, might be a chance, but he's got no kit. He's got no armor.
Yeah, this is stretching him out.
Look, I'm trying to believe, but there's no belief to be had. DD's going to put him down. Shocking stuff, but impressive from Tyloo.
Well, here we go then. It's Luminosity adjusting things. They're going to be going in a different approach this time. Double AWP setup. Fallen and Cold Zero both of those weapons. So they're looking to get those early picks this time. Stop Tyloo working the defaults and finally using their great aim to get into these bomb sites. It's been a difficult situation in terms of the money for Luminosity. Finally stabilized now. No kits once again, though. So let's see what they can do with this one. For towards middle, we have got one player towards B. That's just going to be Fallen by himself and going for the heavy A stack here. Once again, slowing things down, looking for that banana control. Somebody could be leading the charge here. They do for a flashbang towards the top. And the bomb's waiting towards the bottom of mid as well. So if they were to challenge Fallen to find this first kill, that'd be the site completely open. The rotation would be very slow. The closest player is Fur. He's actually heavily committed towards middle.
Must win for Luminosity if they can pull this back. They'll give themselves a chance again. They are execution-based, but Tyloo is such a dark horse. An unknown entity. Fallen, that missed. Just hits the corner. Gives Fallen a chance to re-peek. And this is desperate. Gets the shot, almost lines up. Nearly gets 2 for 1. Falls back nonetheless and goes in toward the site, but it's going to be a fast rotation. And thankfully, Tyloo's hindered. They're slowed down on this because it gives Fur the chance to get there.
That was the kill they needed. Fallen gives them an advantage here, 5-on-4, but looking like Tyloo will be committing here.
Good flash for Fallen, but gets back up on top of it. Finds that second shot. Looked like the opportunity was lost, but he makes it work. They are inside the site still, and Fancy's going to go for the default plant. But it's 2-man advantage to Luminosity on the retake. No kits. Again, they have to be quick. And no one's going to peek from Emo. On top of the spools as well. Attacker tries to see above the smoke if anyone wants to rotate through construction, but they're going to flash in from water. Taco close, forces the attention, turn the other way. So instead, Tyloo, they try to push back. It's towards construction, but it's Attacker last alive, 1 versus 5. He finds 1 in the smoke. That's easily enough. 2, transfer. Oh, almost gets the 3rd, but Fallen's there.
There was a moment there that spray could have got a couple more, but Luminosity finally managed to get around here after losing 4 in a row. It's Fallen stepping up. The captain of the team finds the first couple of frags and leaves them in a very winnable situation for the retake. Tyloo to get the bomb down though, so their money will be boosted slightly. And now Luminosity need to make sure they're actually chaining some rounds together. Now this double AWP setup seems to be working out for them. There's the replay on the screen of the first 2 frags that were gathered by Fallen. Playing that bomb site by himself as well. That's a huge gamble on their side. As I said, if he'd have fallen, and there would have been no chance to actually retake that site. It would have been too far away to get the retakes going. 8-2 now. Into round number 11. More aggression this time from the Siege. He's going to be pushing down with those aggressive smokes once again. Spraying through, unable to land the damage just yet.
Get out.
Pushing the terrorists back.
I mean, they are first getting really aggressive there. The second smoke came out just in time so he could stay, but remember, when they had that single AK, didn't get more than 1 kill, and that was the really only chance in that round. Now he's starting to get aggressive on gun rounds as well. Does work out, though. Fallen finds somebody. Taco goes to the corner. They're going to set up for a crossfire play with Fur. See if Tyloo reads this. They've got one Molotov they could try and use to flush that position, but that's gone. Attacker goes down. And I'm not sure if it'll be the one dropped on his corpse or not. Depends what he had last drawn. It's going to be Fur that falls, though. Captain Mo out the boiler door. Now the crossfire has to work with FNX. The nade won't find the low HP player Mo because he's inside of boiler. And FNX going to put his attention firmly in that position. Taco's still holding this cubby. And the smoke out in front of him. Can he find the gap in it when it dissolves? They're creeping closer still toward it. Flash through. Taco reads it. They do check it, but it's low. Line up. And it's going to be Didi that's the last player alive. Very low on HP, and Cold finds it.
This double AWP setup working very effectively now for Luminosity. It's Cold Zera and Fallen, the two AWPers, finding those initial picks, forcing Tyloo up towards middle, and then Crossfire's coming in to finish the round off for Luminosity. They have broken the economy of Tyloo here, so finally they can build up their own bankroll here and start edging back into this game. It has been a really difficult affair for them now, but a couple of rounds in a row and keeping players alive as well is definitely beneficial going forward. So Tyloo have gone for the partial buy here. Tech 9s and some armor. 4 smoke grenades as well. Looking like they're going for the straight up B rush. They're going to be challenging the CTs. This could be a massive problem here. Fur needs to find more than one. He gets down DD, but there it is. He does survive and managing to take down somebody as well. Gets the triple kill. Why not? That could have been really intense.
That's exactly what I was saying last round, is they're starting to get aggressive in that banana position, and if it doesn't work and you get caught, it's such a long and fast rotation that has to come over back toward the B site. So they get away with it, Luminosity, but Fur's going to have to be a little bit careful if he wants to continue doing that. Yeah. And they have been throwing the deep smoke from the CT spawn to try and let it happen, but still, it is a risk.
That was very scary, but they did manage to step up in individual performance. Had he dropped just one kill, that could have been a very different scenario. But there it is, round number 13. Luminosity now 3 rounds in a row coming into life here. I can see Tyloo adjusting themselves, allowing that aggression to come in. There's that AWP setup once again, falling by himself towards Banana, looking for the first pick, and Cold Zera towards middle. So Tyloo into a full default here, seeing if any aggression does come in. They probably were trying to retake Banana after the smokes have been dissipated.
That's going to be the crossfire setup again over toward the arch side. For this time, the one playing at the cubby. But somebody's going to creep up top of Banana right now with that smoke out. Fallen won't have the direct read on this. And he's alone. Early rotation. Fancy going to try her back through the smoke. They start to clear out a few of the angles toward mid, including Boiler, with now 2 players occupying it so that they can start to execute. And FNX this time is going to be passively inside the back of pit. Needs to be careful. They've flashed out Tyloo very well from that position before. Late smoke out this time on arch side as they do go. And they're going to wrap over toward the truck side. Captain Mo already underneath the atrium. Spots up Taco early at the graveyard position. It's good if you're undetected, but now he's got to have to read that. And Fur in the cubby still. Late smoke on him further. He just waits, but the problem is if they wrap truck and he's that far away, he's easy to smoke off at library if they can get the 2 players. B, meanwhile, this is just a fight to hold Fallen in place. And he needs to win this duel. Good rotation back. Realizes that CT's open. They can wrap back to the A side. He knows his teammates are going to go under fire, but Taco peeks out late. Fur finds the kill as well on the Fancy. Bombs dropped. And LG going to try and hold this. Fur falls, but they still have pick control. Fallen's gone. That's the rotation. Somebody can go for the flank. They find out where Taco is. And it's 2 versus 2. Fallen going down to somebody. That's right, they do have the bomb, but it's still a kill on FNX. Captain Mo, if he finds the second one. But time's gone. Thankfully stays alive. And somebody was a little bit late. If he could have come over sooner from the top and middle, it would have worked.
Yeah, somebody who was the complete bait there towards the B side. We saw Fallen challenging him. And the idea was, if somebody can find a kill or even show a lot of attention towards that side of the map, they peel CT away from the A side, just as Tyloo were executing towards A, but wasn't meant to be. It was a little bit too sloppy. The exchanges were very strong, and the crossfires on that A bomb side, once again for Luminosity, holding Tyloo off. And now we go into round number 14. It's a fast pick from somebody. I'm not even sure he got that round. Or that frag, I should say, as it goes into a 5-on-4. It was that aggressive play once again from Ferb, trying to push down towards the bottom Banana with that aggressive smoke, but an advantage gifted towards Tyloo there. Good adaptation. They've been having a problem holding off that CT push coming in. This time they bet the AWP and lock it down. Now they do have the opportunity to go back to a default and see where they can find the next pick.
So 4 rounds now in a row for Luminosity. Bomb plant goes in with the bonus they'll be able to buy regardless Tyloo next round, but they may go further than that. They may find this round. Fallen gets one back, but for FNX, he's down as well. It's 1 for 1 immediately, and it's all left to Cold Zera, who is playing on the B side. Fancy, default plant. Does Cold even go for this?
The money's not great, you know, for CTs. he needs to save his weapon. He's got the AWP, and he's got enough to drop a weapon next round as well. He has to save, so he'll be holding out towards T-spawn. That's another very successful round for Tyloo. The adjustment with the AWP on towards somebody as well. He had a great first map here to kick things off in this series, and it's a good decision from him. He got the decent spawn, taking down the first pick towards Banana. They have them access towards middle, and they worked very good crossfires there, making their way into the bomb site and locking the CTs out. Fallen did what he could, holding the A bomb site. Only managed to get one frag there. But Tyloo now going up 9-5 in the decider match here.
Insanity. Insanity. Luminosity is going to be under full pressure when they go over to this T side.
Well, it's great news that Luminosity did manage to get that AWP. As I said, had he lost that, they wouldn't have much to play with. He had 5k left over, so they do manage to get 2 AWPs, 2 pistols, and an MP9. So it goes without saying that that save was absolutely crazy important for them going forward. So Cold Zero now needs to find his first pick. These AWPs need to do some serious work here as we go into the final round of the first half.
Cold waiting for the shot down middle, hoping someone's going to pop into that underpass, that little gully. No one does. And they can't afford to get aggressive on the apartment side and go passive on B and try and lock them into that banana position because there's just such a good stance from Tyloo and alt middle to hold off these pushes. We saw that with the 1-for-1 trade against Taco early on in the half.
We have got this set up towards the B-bomb site for Fallen once again. He's by himself. They're focused towards the A site. Problem is the CT's one kit and now utility depleting as well. There's still over a minute to play with. Tyloo start advancing towards the apartments. They have got control as well. Gonna be those 3 pistols trying to hold off the AKs now. Cold Zero towards the arc side. If the terrorists do decide to go quad, this could be a massive problem for Luminosity.
Go inside of the site with only the CZ. FNX. Opposite position with the same gun. And here we go. Flash out. He peeks aggressively. FNX blinded on the second one, but that allows Cold to hit the shot on somebody. He swigs out, takes down DD as well. And Cold, excellent job to shut down the initial push. Bomb, it's dropped. But Captain Mo's got an AWP of his own, and he's got the shot on FNX now inside of the pit. This will start to move the defense, force them to rotate, but it's just him that's remaining, and it's going to be Fur to close it. 9-6. A big round for Luminosity to pick up.
Great round there from Luminosity, up against the ropes completely with that double AWP setup working out for them, just allowing themselves to have 4 players on towards A. Good rotation from Cold Zero once he's smoked out, made his way towards the bomb site. First CZ kill comes in, and that slows down Tyloo, and it's easy pickings for Cold Zero at that point. So they managed to salvage something from this after the huge deficit. I think it was 8-1 at one stage. They managed to pull it back and actually get the 9-6. So still, if they win the pistol, Luminosity, they bring this to tie things up at 9-9, right? So it's still huge advantage for Tyloo. Very good half from them. Did not expect them to get that amount of rounds or even win the half on the T side, but they've done it, and the pressure is on Luminosity. If this pistol does go against them, they're in a world of trouble.
You can see it. Cold Zero looking pretty flustered by this. But again, if the pistol does go their way, tie it up at 9, it's a fair game, it's a fair fight, and Luminosity's more than capable on this T side. I want to see if Tyloo, we saw the aggression from Luminosity toward Banana, but if you remember that Cobblestone game against Liquid, how passive they were, how they had great crossfires that forced you to commit to bomb sites. I want to see if Tyloo can do that in B, because then if they commit to Banana, they lock them in.
Bomb sites are very similar to Cobble in that respect. The CT terrorists have to work very hard to even get in past crossfires and stuff like that. Whether Tyloo will be going for that very passive hold them towards the A bomb site and actually not giving them anything before they actually make their way onto the site, that could be really cool. But we're going to do the pistol round now. It's looking like Luminosity will be forcing their way in towards B. 3 players. Actually, Bomb's waiting in second mid, so just going for that initial control here. There's only 1 player for Tyloo towards that site. That's going to be DD with the CZ. And they'll be just trying to play passively here. As Luminosity decide to fall back towards middle. Now they have obtained the banana control.
But the force rotation. 3 players on the arch side. Somebody's going to spot it first, take 1 quick shot. Has a position to repeat because his teammate's there with a flash to get him out there. There's still 3 here, but it's an overcommitment. No one else facing. They spot attacker inside of the coming. Team kill from Cold, but makes up for it. 2 kills his way on top of that. The other kill going the way of Fallen. But Fancy's going to bait this out, you know. This is actually clever as he drops the bomb down. 49 seconds. They've got time to recover it, but Fancy brings it back down to a 3 versus 2, and he's still got position. Battle going on in CT spawn. Thankfully, Fur wins that, because if DD gets back to a 2 versus 2, Fancy still has position on top of the bomb. He fights forward. He may just get more, but he runs out of ammo.
He did what he could there. It was a very nice play to take the bomb down and give them a chance in that round. But it was Luminosity throwing things down. They pushed towards B at the start of the round, pushed the CTs back. Went back towards that mid control. Got decent exchanges. There was a little cheeky little team kill coming in there, but it wasn't too detrimental going forward. That's a must-win pistol for Luminosity going in their favor. So they can go to this next round and breathe easy a little bit. Tyloo will be actually forcing into this. We saw what they did to that economy on overpass and set themselves up for a horrible situation going forward in that first gun round. But we're going for this time. 5 CZs and armor across the board. They have got a smoke and a couple of flashes. That's about it. Going aggressive towards the house. This can be a very effective way to use these pistols. Close range crossfires and make the terrorists punish as they try to come through the apartments. But it's looking like 4 SMGs for Luminosity, 1 AK. It's going to be the first kill for DD coming in. Takes down Fur. Fancy's by himself towards B, and he's going to be smoking them out for now as well. This is a very good read from him.
Yeah, good play, actually, to get the player outside of Boiler once they committed for the open, and smart as well to read this. All right, we got to pick on it. Chances are they don't have much information. They don't have any map control. They might rotate, so instantly they put the second player back over toward that B site. It's somebody that rotates to join in right now with Fancy. And they still have 2 players pushed up in Boiler as well. So decent setup. SMGs though, MP7's gonna have to do some work. Good boost, caught off. Somebody, he's got the second kill. Almost finds the third, but FNX is there. Goes down to 56 HP, and they just have to find Fancy in the corner. CZ for him as well, but Taco continues to jump, finds the kill, and Cold will take down DD. It's Mo and Attacker on the rotate. I got CZs as well. Bomb's gonna be planted off though. No further utility for LG to utilize. They have got the one late onto CT. That forced them into construction.
Yeah, it was a decent start here for Tyloo, but their options are very limited now. Both coming from Spool's area. FNX is the first kill, and he makes it a double as well. So even though Tyloo got those first 2 picks, they just didn't really have enough to hold on to once Luminosity had committed towards that B site. They managed to get the boost on the site, but a 2-for-1 exchange wasn't giving enough. As soon as that bomb was planted, that was the round over. And Luminosity bringing things back to 9 plays 8 now, and that's the money situation thrown away for Tyloo. They're going to struggle now going forward. Have to be a full eco this time. Going to get a couple of P250s. That's about it. Now this is a real chance for Luminosity to tie things up at 9-9. And we know how strong their C-side can be as well. You talked about the set executions and the strategic play they have. It's going to be a fast play towards middle. Cold Zero gets the first kill, but Fancy one somehow gets the kill back. DD chiming in as well. This makes things interesting. 3 on 3. Round will fall apart slowly but surely for Tyloo as Fur and Fallen after the kill charts there, but just Attacker remaining. But I didn't expect him to get 2 frags. Something to talk about, I guess.
Nearly a third as well. Taco gets thinked up there in the end, down to 7 HP. Tyloo's got the individual accuracy, but 9-9, this is what we talked about, getting it tied up and now having a fair fight forward. Fallen's going to go immediately to the AWP. There's no Jaden here. They want to win.
5 M4s, no kits, no incendiaries. They have got the 5 smokes. Very important on Inferno, but the incendiaries really do help towards the end moments of the rounds as well. We'll see what they decide to do here in terms of a setup. Looks pretty default for now. It looks like they'll be boosting players up and towards the quad. That's going to be Attacker. We've seen a lot of teams do this recently. And somebody getting onto the... We called that the windowsill as well, didn't we? So
yep.
That's a very efficient setup. A lot of players won't be checking that position somebody's in right now. And I think you'll find this first kill on the Fur as well.
Yep, because Fur's not going to be the one to check it. He's got to shoulder peek this. If he does do quickly enough, they will get the information. That'll force somebody to drop off of it, because once it's given up, it's easier to read. But look at Mo as well down below. This is a really, really good setup with 2 players boosted and the one to swing out and catch them off.
Problem is, LG have smoked off towards that side of the middle, so Attacker can see over it, but that's a position they'll certainly check. Luminosity kind of readjusting themselves now, making their way towards B, so no orbs here, and there's a couple of smokes remaining for Tyloo, but it's going to be very difficult. This could probably be the full execute you spoke about before we went into this game. They've got Molotovs, smoke grenades. They could actually go for this full-on execution. That's the final smoke towards B used by Fancy One, so they'll wait for that to go down, set themselves in position to go for the full execution.
Yep, here it is.
5 players alive. This is a dream time to do it.
And it will force DD to move.
Here it comes.
So they bounce them off the skybox. There it is. 1 down, 2 down. Orange is 1, orange is 2. New box covered. The 3 Molotov strategy. Good shot from Cole because they only have to look at 2 angles on the way, and that's one of them. This is the other. But DD gets the shot. Fur might get Mo rotating, but they still have to confront DD back toward Emo. Good shoulder peek out from him, but it's FNX. I read out of my peripherals. It looks similar, but he gets the kill. And that's going to force Tyloo back. So that is the exact setup, that exact Molotov play. If they can't find picks on A, they go to it.
What's so cool about it as well, people are probably watching that thinking, oh, the Molotov's missed, they haven't hit any CTs there. But the thing is, it doesn't matter if it hits the CTs or not. It just eradicates possibilities where the CTs can be. So it just means that the Cold Zera can go into that, knowing he can just concentrate his aim towards that Spools area and just completely wreck the CT as he comes into that bomb site. It's such a cool position to be in, and it's such a problem. If you allow Luminosity to run the timer down like that and actually get themselves in position when you have no vision on it whatsoever, and you've got no smokes to even hold them off, it's almost impossible to win the round at that stage. It's such a perfect play. Great calling by Fallen there to get them number 10 on the ball. They actually take the advantage here as well. That's a very well-executed play. Just textbook counter-strike there from Luminosity. At that stage, though, Luminosity, when Tyloo get to that kind of stage, it's a dying moment of the round. They can feel an execution coming. You need to be reacting, you need to be flashing over, and you need finding a pick, you need to be slowing it down. You can't allow 5 players of full utility to come onto that bomb site. It's very, very difficult to hold off, and now we have a huge advantage for Luminosity going to the next. I think a timeout has come in from Tyloo. Now they're feeling the pressure a little bit more.
Absolutely. Just where we've got a chance as well. I think it's gone public. It's already, I saw it on Reddit getting upvoted.
Oh, yes.
Guardian has been cleared by his medical team to join Na'Vi. He'll be flying in for the playoffs. Remember, the playoffs start on Saturday. They've got 2 days before that happens. So they've got time to get him here and get warmed up. He's been going through a lot of medical treatment. His decision, his doctor's decision, he's fine. He's ready to go.
Well, they've managed to do a good job without him so far, so that's kind of scary. The thought they're even going to get even better.
Keep this in mind, too, because remember the Valve Major, when they committed to playing with Threat, once they started the tournament, they had to stay with it. This one, they're allowed to switch. DreamHack has okayed it, so he'll be in. And what a difference that'll make, especially if he's on his form.
You seem to have an opinion about that. You feel like he should be resting?
Look, I mean, it's his decision. He knows more than I do about it. But based on how sore he did look after the Major, if I were him, look, they made it into the playoffs. They're doing all right. Starix is playing well. If it really is an issue that's that bad, and if he comes here and plays and it starts to hurt again, I would have liked to see him take more time off, take advantage of it while he can, and get fully 100 up to 100% instead of starting to make it worse again. It is a football-related injury. It's not like the CS is what did it and it's what hurting it, but it isn't helping, that's for sure. So, again, his doctors and he know more than I do. It's their decision. I trust them, but I do have my concerns.
It's still kind of cool, a little last-minute storyline there. Guardian returning to make Na'Vi even stronger here. It was great. Starix actually played very well this tournament. That was actually really cool to see that happen. He kept them strong in this tournament, and it's looking like the pause will be coming unstuck momentarily. So we'll have a look at the buy coming in for Tyloo. As I mentioned before, Luminosity now have the advantage 10-9, and they're getting tons of cash here as well. The score on the second half currently is 4-0. Tyloo did save 2 weapons from the previous round. It doesn't look like they'll be forcing into this one. They're going to be trying to use these 2 M4s to the best of their ability and see what they can do. It's going to be somebody, an attacker with those weapons. And all of a sudden, that massive lead that Tyloo had at the beginning, 8 played 1, it does start to slip away. Round number 20. CZs, PD50s, 2 M4s. Be trying to find that first pick. Let's see how they approach the situation. 1 player towards the B side. That will be somebody. 4 stacking towards A.
FNX is going to confront somebody, but he gets taken down.
Here we go.
This is the start, LG. They have to find a way back into it right now. DD, pistol pops out, but Fur's there. Crossfire set as he'd already made his way into toward the boiler, the jump from the haystack. Now the 3 players stacked up on the arch side are going to get confronted because they smoke off toward truck. First spotted the one on the right. Molotov out. Spreads just far enough. Flash, though, clears it. Cold catches him just barely as attacker tries to get into the transition position to go away and stay safely alive, but Fur finds the other 2. That gives it up, and it's going to walk into A. Somebody, the only one with a kill, the only one with a rifle. They know where he is, and Fallen's got him down.
Lovely stuff there from Luminosity. It was somebody to find that first pick. We said someone had to step up. He went aggressively towards the car. Did get 1, but the round fell apart. It seems as Luminosity capitalized towards middle and found those frags. But here we go then. The money has stabilized for Tyloo. We have got the AWP coming out on towards Mo. Luminosity looking very strong in the second half. The score is going to be 5-0, and their money's getting very strong as well.
And somebody's going to go for a flash out again this time. This is the flash that bounces out, covers off late, but it doesn't actually flash Cold because he's beyond the bench. That's designed to actually cover off the top of the stairwell. Fallen spamming through this smoke, hoping he gets a little bit lucky. Why not add one more to that list of kills that they get this round and take a 2-man advantage? He's playing on top of the yellow car. He's far enough back. There's no more smokes out on this banana position, though, and there's one smoke left to throw from Fancy. Another from Mo. That's one will get to play. That's from A to the bottom of banana. So that'll leave Fancy with one more if he falls back and has to go for the quick right-click retreat smoke at the top of the choke point.
Problem is now, it's the similar sort of scenes. Luminosity have picked up their first frag. They still have 5 smokes and all their Molotovs as well. They can slow things right down, keep pushing the CTs back. We have got Mo in towards the apartments with the AWP, trying to find that next pick, but Luminosity just gaining full mid control here. There is one player towards B here, so they could decide to fall back and do that B execute once again. It's a very similar situation. The CTs have nothing to work with. They have no mid vision. They can't see what's going on towards banana. It looks like the bomb will be heading up there. It's going to be a B split coming in from CT spawn as well, so this is actually be really cool. We can see the CT player in the form of Fancy will be waiting on the B side. He's got DD trying to help him out from CT spawn, but he's going to have to try and take down 3 players here as the split comes in.
Fallen takes down DD after he finds Fur, though. Fallen and Cold low, but they've got the wrap. They've got CT control. As such, Tyloo not even going to confront it. They're going to rotate back through the bottom of banana, but it puts pressure on Fancy. He's got to buy space. He's got to buy time. Goes for the peek, drops the bomb. That's crucial because now FNX has to not only get the kill, but get the bomb and get it planted. And it's his 2 teammates that are low on HP. This attacker's going to go first. He's got the M4. He also has the kit, keep in mind. But Mo's limited by this. He has to come in with the AWP. They're stacked up. Mo hits the shot. Cold goes down. It's low HP for Fallen. Finds the first. Needs to be careful on his repeat because there's an AWP staring at him.
What a retake that was. The Luminosity had it all tied up there. But it comes in. Mo with 2 frags towards the end. It was him versus Fallen. And Fallen had no choice but to go for the pick.
And that's partly due to where the bomb was planted. Yeah. Again, it got dropped in, and FNX just had to grab it and plant it wherever he could.
That's the thing. There was like 6 seconds remaining when he actually threw the bomb down. So you're absolutely right. Had he got across the site without Fallen seeing that, would have been the round over. So he had no choice but to face. And Tyloo bounced one back here. After losing that first frag as well, as I mentioned, Luminosity had such a great setup for them. They actually got the initial pick, got themselves set up towards the banana split as well. Coming in, they got the equal exchange of frags. Bomb is planted. But somehow Tyloo come out on top. The problem is, money's still a problem for them. They do manage to keep the AWP. We can see 2 players on towards Famas here. If they were to lose this round, it's almost certainly a double eco coming in. We'll see what they can do this. As Cold Zero once again opens it up. Fast play towards banana. Does get the kill on towards DD. And it seems like that's the continuing storyline here. Cold Zero just running around on the map and finding opening kills anywhere he goes.
Why not? Cold's good at it. They had the opening kills in the last round as well, remember. And Tyloo were able to equalize it, take it one further than 1-on-1. Fallen with the AWP this time, trying to find an opening over toward the B site, which is occupied by 3 players right now. But Taco and Fur, if they started to work up this apartment position, they'd realize A's pretty much open. They've got Mo on that side of the map. Somebody's going to rotate over, but they don't have pit. They don't have the site itself covered off. Thankfully, somebody gets aggressive and just hopes no one's in the top of apartment staring out at the library door and just rotates immediately inside of that site. He's actually going to get more aggressive than that as well as he starts to push up behind the smoke. Cold flashes through. Mo hits the shot. There you go. It's equaled out again.
Well, it's going to be Luminosity now funneled towards the B site. But this time, Tyloo have got 2 players there. Attacker looking a little bit more aggressive. Is Fallen, edging his way in. Molotovs go over, waiting for a CT to show himself.
That one missed, I think. Yes, it did. Orange is 1. They still have it. And Fancy's going to spray down because of it. Look at how much difference that makes. They missed 1 Molotov. They only had 2 to work with because Cold went down, and they miss it. And the strategy falls apart.
Cold Zero opens it up once again, and Luminosity can't finish the round off. They had a huge advantage in terms of the buy as well. The Famases and the crossfire once more of Tyloo coming up strong on towards that B site. Seems like Luminosity trying to edge their way in without a smoke, or out smoking up key areas. And as you said, the Molotov missed actually towards Oranges too. So we'll see what kind of buy comes into this one. We can see Luminosity. This is probably the final round before they are eco. 2 in a row now for Tyloo. They managed to stabilize things and get AKs and M4s out. Captain Mo still on towards the AWP in the apartment. He's going to be challenged as well now. Can he find his first pick?
Oh, easy.
Of course he can. Lovely shot on towards Taco.
Tyloo. 11-11. Make a wish, Henry. And if you like the underdogs, I think I know where your wish is going to go.
Can you imagine?
They've got a real chance right now. This is incredible.
What a storyline.
Fallen and Cold Zero now going to try and work these picks again. They do have Molotovs, but only 1 in this round, so the strategy not even possible, and Mo nearly finds a second shot. You know he's crossed over. No one else going to face Mo, so they couldn't even set a cross, couldn't even set a trade against him. Not like a trade's going to favor them at this point anyway, because it would put them down 3 versus 4. 57 seconds left in the round. They do start to work back toward this B site. Mo's yet to rotate away from it as well, so if they find the kill on DD and get a smoke out towards CT, it's possible. And Cold's going to sit back as well and catch rotation.
DD's in the back towards Emo, trying to just jump occasionally and see where the T's are coming in. They are going to be committed at this stage. One player towards middle for them. There's maybe a fake coming out here, so Bong's making his way back, so they're trying to peel away as many CTs as they can from the A side. We've got coldzera getting the rotation, but it's Fancy. Fantastic headshot on the coldzera, giving them a huge advantage here. 5 on 3, and there's no real positional control from the terrorists as yet. They're going towards quad with the bomb, but it's too late. Somebody's coming to life here. Takes down Fur, and they're going to take FNX as well. Fallen the last remaining player. It's a 5 on 1. What's around this team from Tyloo?
Money's gone. Fallen. 350 and an AK in the hand. It's 1 versus 4. That fake call comes from Cold, who says, all right, I heard one rotate.
Yeah.
I can catch them off. Let's get more to come my direction. And Fancy absolutely obliterates him. That's the kill that actually pivoted the round back in the favor of Tyloo. And they're going to go up by 1 with a huge money advantage right now.
Yeah, absolutely right. Fallen does save an AK-47, but that's such a huge play. It actually was quite a nice call from Luminosity. The fact they had coldzera waiting for the rotations there. And he's been absolutely lights out so far. We thought he'd get 1 or 2 kills in that situation, but gets removed from the server.
I really did think that they were going to try and boost and check Emo where they didn't have any execution potential without the Molotovs on B. And if they had, they might have got the pick they needed, but man, oh man. I mean, the accuracy, again, from Tyloo, it's super good. You say Cold normally hits those shots, but Fancy just one-ups them right there.
We're going to round number 24. Tyloo take the advantage back here, 12-11. And it has been a force buy from Luminosity here. You can see the first pick comes in. Fallen gifted the kill from Mo there. He went aggressive towards second middle, trying to get that pick with the AWP. You know, Fallen wants to retrieve that weapon. And once again, they have the man advantage here. Taka just go down 23 HP. They can get that AWP. That does boost the buy they've come in with. 3 Tech 9s and 2 rifles there.
Still tense. Kits on 2 players for Tyloo. Not one on DD. Plays solo on the B site, but chances are he wouldn't be the one to be alive and defuse in that situation anyway. Smoke out on Arch. Quick check. FNX is waiting inside of apartments. And Fallen's just going to double check to make sure there's no one close on the flank so that when they do execute, they won't be immediately countered by someone on Tyloo getting aggressive.
Fallen has got the AWP now as well, so they're slowing things down, seeing if he can work the next pick. They still have 2 smokes remaining as well. Somebody is pretty aggressive towards the quad side. You can see him just edging for a pick. Going to get this one as well. Great shot from him. Equalizes things at 4 on 4.
And Fallen wraps around toward that library position. He's trying to bait out that shot. He's trying to get someone to walk out in that direction, wait for the rotation, but in slowing down, Fancy's gone back the other direction toward the arch, and they've got players looking both directions in the site. Somebody's waiting for him to peek, and Attacker's watching his back from the graveyard, and there it is. They work it out. They get the crossfire set. Attacker takes down FNX. This force buy hasn't amounted to anything. They try and get the bomb down. It's 8 seconds, and Tyloo fully resets Luminosity and have a 2-round lead.
Wow.
And no bomb plant. They're just under the mark where they could get a full force buy out of this.
We saw Mo going aggressive in that initial stages of the round, trying to get the pick towards second middle. Luminosity found it and picked up an AWP as well, but just unable to do anything with it. Just great crossfires once again from Tyloo. They're so defensive on the side. They're making Luminosity fully commit. And with the lack of utility, they're very difficult prospects. So once they got to the bomb site, DD showed themselves and locked them down. They're going to be going for the quasi buy here. It's going to be Tech 9s and Desert Eagles. They have got smoke grenades and flashbangs, but it's looking very promising for Tyloo to go 14-11 here in the second half, going aggressively towards B. DD finds the first kill. Fancy coming to life as well. It's an easy round here for Tyloo as they get the first 3 frags. Falling back now. coldzera trying to do what he can with this as FNX.
These crossfires are so good from Tyloo, man.
I know.
2 rounds, and you can hear how pumped they are. You know, LG is the complete opposite. Fallen's the man that never gives up, but this has to start to rattle them.
1 round away from series points.
Timeouts already used, both sides.
Fallen has the AWP now, so that's actually maximum loss bonus as well. So $3,400 coming in. So that partial buy obviously justified. They still have tons of cash going into round number 26 here. So Fallen waiting for the aggression towards middle. He's got the T steps for now. And we can see a more aggressive stance towards B from Tyloo right now. This is then 3 players there, but actually going to be only there for the potential rush coming in. So they'll be rotating back towards CT spawn. And they've actually left 1 player there in the form of DD. He's very passive, all the way in CT spawn himself. So he's looking just to get information and stay alive at that stage.
Far down toward the stairwell inside a boiler again, though. Stack up on that Arch side, somebody, attacker, flash in, goes for the peek. Taco's gonna spot that, falls away, doesn't go down. Important they don't give up this first pick again, Luminosity, and Fur's now gonna go back down toward that doorway and see if he can take advantage of the fact that they clearly have more than one player back toward the apartments. Bomb way back, by the way, toward T-spawn, so it really is just all about picks at this point for Luminosity.
OG have got control of Banana now as well. The bomb is still down towards T-spawn, as you said, so DD still able to hold the position by himself. Luminosity tries to adjust himself and gain some real estate here on the map. Fur has got towards the end of Boiler Room, but there is still a smoke and a Molotov left for Tyloo, as the bomb does make its way towards the top of B as well. So FNX going to be the first man to face it. They've got the AWP coming in, but somebody gets the first pick onto Taco now, funneling the terrorist towards B.
DD through the smoke, but gets pushed, and that works out perfect. You might not have tracers on that smoke, but that close, it's even easy to figure out. And FNX, he goes through and finds Mo as well. And they've got a real chance, Luminosity, to start mounting this back into the game. Has Fallen gonna go for the default. Attacker and somebody over on the A site. Money right now, it's reasonable, but it would be best to say because 450 for Attacker only, and it's 3K. For somebody, Mo, Fancy, they'll get 1400, they'll be fine, but for the sense of Attacker and for the sense of saving out and playing this long game, they've got a bit of a cushion to work with. There's no point giving this up.
Yeah, keep the weapons. That came down to DD. He heard the footsteps coming in towards the B side. He did go for the full spray down. But as soon as he was going to reload, the FNX punished him, pushing through that smoke, and got a fantastic shot onto Mo, the AWPer as well. But somebody does manage to salvage the AWP. Luminosity holding on here, not allowing Tyloo to go onto series point here. Coldzera does find him. That Attacker drops, but the AWP is still in the hands safely of somebody. That was actually kind of interesting. Tyloo got that opening pick once again. Luminosity reacted very quickly. And we go to round number 27. Full buy for both teams. It's going to be falling on the AWP. The tension is mounting here. There's the replay on your screen right now. That fantastic second shot from FNX as he pushed through the spawn area. We'll see what kind of setup coming in from Tyloo this round. It was very defensive. And it was a big problem for them actually going forward.
Mo up mid-peak, hits a great shot on Fur. Again, he gets close by the bench. His flash not going to work in that position. And the reactions are absolutely perfect. A one-man advantage again for Tyloo.
They got this last round, but Luminosity clawed them way back into it. So,
and it's only going to be 1400 if Luminosity lose this. That will go their way. They're going to be desperate for cash.
They will be going for the banana control here once again. Tyloo not very aggressive towards the side of the map. They were more than happy to give it away to Luminosity.
But now we're starting to see that Tyloo we saw in Cobblestone as well, where they're getting passive. They're just letting you walk in and trap yourself. And Luminosity, execution-based team, needs to find a way to adapt to this and force them out of those positions. They do have 2 Molotovs still to work with this round, but it's only 2, remember, and the whole point of that is to clear out one entire side of the site.
They've chucked 3 smokes towards B now, and they're not actually committing to this as of yet. They're waiting to see if the CTs are willing to give up all of their utility before they go in. So the smokes have now dissipated. Here come the flashbangs. Looks like they will be going into the site.
No Molotovs thrown, so they're just going to go in completely against this. And DD sprays down 1 already, and there it is, Fancy on top of the spools. It's going to be that point for Tyloo. Money going to be tight for Lumi. They're going to have to force it out, and Fallen, he's not even going to be able to save. They're waiting for his retreat. But somebody's a little bit late through that underpass. He might just get by him. Faces up, takes down 1 Attacker. And somebody pops up.
Wow.
A Jack in the box. Somebody says hello, and you are gone. It's going to be map point Tyloo.
Series point Tyloo. This is crazy. They're so close to winning now. Got a better 3 rounds here. And as you said, the money is pretty low for Luminosity. If they could have saved that AWP, it would have been fantastic. But you're absolutely right with this setup. They're forcing Luminosity to fully commit before they actually face. Jumping up on the spools, finding the double kill. And it all came down for Mo getting that initial shot to bring the man advantage into favour of the Chinese side. But here we go then. Round number 28. Galil, Tech 9, Attacker and Fallen. 3 AKs. They definitely don't have the utility of one of their full executes. You have to rely on the likes of Coldzera to open this map up. It's all to play for now. Can't afford to drop a single round. Tyloo, touching distance of taking this.
Coldzera flashes off Mo. He's got to go back, but he's going to play the off angle. He's not going to rotate to Library. Hits another great shot on Fur in the air. And it's a 2-man advantage. Tyloo make it now a 3-man FNX. He's got to get 1 more back. He's got to rise from the ashes like the Phoenix that he claims to be, but he's caught in the open, and Tyloo, they'll shock not only Liquid, but wake up world, because the major champions have just lost to China.
Amazing scenes there. You can see how much it means to them. What a final map that was. It looked like Luminosity were coming back very comfortably in the opening stages of the second half there, but all of a sudden, the adjustments come in from Tyloo, and they completely wreck them. 6 clean rounds in a row. And that's it. The major champions being knocked out by one of the biggest underdogs of this tournament. No one had actually expected them to even get out the group stages, let alone to be knocking these guys out. That's absolutely nuts. 2-1. What a series that was.
I mean, you talk about fall and rising a Brazilian scene. This is the year for Asia. Tyloo leading the charge. They're legit, man. You talk just meta games, all right? Europe. You talk about Banana all the time. We get some teams that play a little more passively, Fnatic sometimes with Crims. But this is a whole different style altogether on that CT side. Same as on Cobble. Tyloo just, come on, let's go. And then they peak at perfect times. And the synergy on their flashbangs to do it, it's really nice to watch.
It's really cool CS, actually. You're absolutely right. They are defining some in the game there and actually utilizing the crazy aim they have and that really passive mentality. They're really good at just like holding on and not falling for fakes as well. You saw towards the end there, Luminosity were trying to bait them in with those 3 smokes and trying to make them use everything they had, but they were so patient, not even rotating players over, and then just having that man advantage, making sure they used every crossfire in their favor, and just locked them down completely. So impressive. Who would have thought that would have been the result today?
Especially, again, like you say, Luminosity is so good, but Smix is standing by for an interview. Listen closely, world, because this interview is important. They're on the map.
Thank you very much, Matt. If there was ever an underdog story, this is it. You guys went from being the underdog and no one really expected to even make it this far, to be honest. And now you defeated the major champions. What is going through your head right now?
就说现在我们刚刚战胜了 LG 是 MLG 的冠军，而且从整个大赛来说，我们都是算是一匹黑马了。现在，然后现在你的脑子里面在想什么？
我们现在非常的激动，然后我们基本上是没有想过会赢 LG 的。
We are really excited right now, and we haven't thought about to win. We can win Luminosity.
Okay, so you guys went from a tough loss on day 1, then day 2 you looked completely different, took down the top 4 team Liquid, and then today you took down Luminosity, the current champions, in a best of 3 nonetheless. So, I mean, what's different? I mean, clearly you guys are just looking like a totally different team.
第一天我们是7-16输给了 LG， 然后第二天我们在2个加时赛是赢了 Liquid， 然后他们是前4的队伍 MLG， 然后今天我们在一个BO3的比赛，我们还是战胜了 Luminosity， 然后现在就是从比赛之前到现在这3天来，我们可以说在他们的眼里，我们是完全的不同的队伍。现在你的脑子里面你是怎么想？就有什么不同吗？跟之前？
我觉得这下没有什么不同的，唯一不同的就是因为第一天打 LG， 因为他毕竟是之前的冠军嘛，然后可能我们第一场打起来就是没有放开。过于紧张之类的，然后就导致我们只拿了7分。
He thinks there are not anything different between here now or before. It's just like the first day they were like quite stressful. They were under pressure, so they couldn't perform their best. But now it's just they perform what they have trained for.
So, Marshall, when I spoke to you earlier, you had mentioned that the coach stays up well into the night looking at VODs and things like that. So, can he just elaborate a little bit more on the preparation process for Tyloo?
就是我知道，就是像前天晚上，卡萨是一天晚上都没有睡觉是吗？一直在看 demo 之类的。然后昨晚是不是也是这样子的？然后就是，在这个过程中有没有什么样的特别的想法或者观点？
这个就像之前说的，就是卡萨之前打液体的时候，然后他也是就是前一天晚上没有睡觉，然后包括昨天晚上我们要打 LG， 就是打 LG， 我们预先判断明天要打什么样的地图，然后他会去帮助我们研究一下 LG 的站位啊，还有以及他们的打法。
So they didn't sleep a lot last night actually. So they were like preparing for the maps. So what maps Luminosity will pick and what maps they might ban. And today when we are doing the veto, everything's going our way.
All right, last but not least, you guys have gained so many new fans. What is it like to come abroad after playing mainly in Asia and coming abroad playing against these international teams? What is that experience like? And do you have anything to say to all your newfound fans over here?
就是现在我们经过这3天比赛，其实我们在全世界已经有很多新的粉丝了。那么我们一直是在亚洲打，但现在我们又可以来到了可以说来到全世界舞台。那么现在有什么想对你们的，比如说新的支持者或者还不认识你们的人说的？
我非常感谢，就是国内就是中国的一些 CS:GO 玩家支持我们的玩家，然后还有我们的粉丝，还有以及就是即将成为我们的粉丝的人，非常感谢他们。
It's just really simple. He wants to say thanks to everyone who supports them, and also everyone who will become their fans. Just thanks to everyone and also all the supporters, all the people who care about them.
All right, well, thank you very much, Captain Mo. Thank you very much, Marshall, for helping interpret. Alex, I think it is safe to say China has made their impression on CSGO.
Absolutely, China is on the CSGO map now for good, and they managed to do it across 3 maps as well. I mean, it is just kind of like mind-blowing. Everything about this match was going the way of LG. The desk said the same. There's no way we could have predicted it. And gentlemen, I'm just going to kind of throw this into the pen and just say, like, how do we analyze that? That's absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah, that's a level of Tyloo that, I mean, obviously we didn't expect to see whatsoever, having predicted them to go out 0-2, but just the teamwork that they came out with, the trading they had on their T sides was actually incredible, and I thought they would collapse a little bit on the defense, because the T sides with that aim, you could see they can have some success, but not to this level. That was an incredible, especially Inferno was beautiful from them. They had some timely wins in important rounds, resetting the economy of Luminosity. And then it's not often that you see teams with this little experience. This is kind of, you can't underestimate how big of a win this is, because we see upsets happen, and a lot of times, it's very much like a 16-10, 16-11 kind of situation, but to have them grind out these close games, these intense close games, is so very impressive.
After being down 49 on Cash after the timeout, they win 7 rounds in a row on T-side. Cash against what is, in my opinion, one of the best CT-sided teams right now in the world, especially when they have a good economy and double AWP setup and so on. The Tyloo we saw today wasn't at all the team that we saw against Liquid. And now look at the stats here. What's interesting is if you look at okay, this counts assist as well, but I think somebody is the only player that has a positive kill-to-death ratio in this whole best of 3.
Yeah.
All other players have a negative one, and on the other team you have Cold Zero, who had a much better one than any of the players on Tyloo. So that shows to you how little the stats can mean, obviously, because the game LG won was much more convincing and the other 2 were close games. But also what we saw from Tyloo is they were actually pretty dynamic in their play. They weren't going only for set strats on the T side. On the contrary, they had some really explosive strats and explosive rounds on Cash and on Inferno, which we saw in the first half, which to me it seemed that it caught especially Taco off guard a bit in some of the rounds.
I do want to address Cash first, and I mean, we have got some time to break this down, so let's not just kind of throw ourselves everywhere. Let's try and do it map by map. So we'll start with Cash, Robin. They had an example of it to look at and to break down. I think that definitely has to be highlighted, that their coach seems to have done a lot. Smick says he was up all night.
Yeah. I mean, very impressive. One thing that you can take away from this game overall, or from Tyloo in general, goes for all Western teams, is that the way that they execute on bomb sites, even if it's not a set execute, they actually when they go in, they go in. They're not going to go back.
They DDK that.
They're going to DDK that right all the way in until they're done with their business, and then obviously they're going to leave, and the new round starts. But in general, like, you see that because you see the tendency. Normally, when you're in the underdog team, you tend to do a lot of mistakes when you actually hit the site, where it's like, oh, you get flashed, oh, you don't want to run in. No, this never happened with Tyloo. They even if they got flashed, they all went as a group, they went together. Trading was on point overall. I mean, just speaking on Cash, somebody just went absolutely nuts on that map. He dropping 30 bombs. I think he ended up with 33 on Cash alone, and very impressive performance. Good teamwork, good strats. You can clearly see that they have actually taken a strat or 2 from the European teams, from North American teams, built together, and meshed that together with just a regular normal standard heavy kind of playstyle where you have these executes, but you don't really need them. Just throw a smoke and you run in and you see what happens.
And this high sense style of play as well, which is always kind of eye-catching to us. We were sitting there going, sometimes it doesn't look right. Like, we're just not used to seeing players play with that high sensitivity and do so well. Jason, maybe closing on Cash, but also move into Inferno. You said it was beautiful. I'd like to know kind of exactly why you thought that.
Well, I mean, there were a couple rounds on the T side, especially where you could see, and this comes down to the preparation, the demo or the VOD watching that they've done, and this is something you can really take away from that if you do it yourself as a player. And as a team, is they were actually very patient. If they got stalled out initially on a hit, they didn't try and force the issue all the time. They still played back. They still just took their fights in their specific spots. They didn't try and do too much or make too big of a play. And they'd find a kill here or there, and they'd kind of turn the route slowly back into their favor. A couple times especially, they got caught losing a few players early on in battles, coming out of halls and coming up lane at that A bomb site. So it was really cool to see. What was really impressive to me about Inferno is I saw a couple individual mistakes from Tyloo players, and they did manage to overcome it in the end. There was that one round towards the end where I think it was Fancy who sprays his entire clip into the smoke over at the B site, and I forget who it was from Luminosity that's able to kind of swing through. Here's the bullets run out, and he's able to punish that. So that's a small mistake, especially being the only one at the bomb site. But I mean, just moving forward, they don't let that bother them. They just move on to the next round and they come right back into it. It's just incredible. It's almost hard to say everything. That was such an incredible match.
And they had the same approach we were talking about coming into Cobblestone yesterday versus Liquid, where they give them so much space to work with. Inferno was a great example of that, where they just play so defensively. Okay, Luminosity, you want banana? What? Here, go ahead. You want up mid? Sure, why not? You know. Come.
And they're bringing you stuff, right?
Yeah. They gave Luminosity all the tools to win. They had, even if they had all the nades, they just basically stood patient. I think Stadicus was talking about it one round where they hit the B bomb site, where you had the Molotov strike coming in from Luminosity. There's only 2 angles you can cover. Sure, Luminosity ended up winning that round, but you saw the same kind of strat over and over again, and it worked out more often than not.
And I think to help us get our head around this, we should kind of go back once again to Janko. Maybe you can do some more of the specifics. I'll let you do your kind of power walk over to your station, and we can go ahead and try and break down a little bit of why Tyloo found so much success against major champions LG.
All right, so the first thing we have is actually from Cash, because it was an extremely close game, and the replay we picked out here is why I think ultimately Tyloo was able to take over the map. So as you see here, this was a round where they just went for a standard B split with 2 smokes, and you can see that actually LG is pretty prepared for this. They have 2 players in the bomb site, even have Cold, who is fairly quickly going to be on the B bomb site as well. But the thing is, right now, we can play the clip here. So even though they go for a 4-1 split, and actually what LG does here is perfect. They're prepared for it. You can see Fur here is dropping a smoke and a flash as well, but Fallen just doesn't hit his shot. He dies. Fur again gets killed, and yes, Cold Zero gets a kill. It ends up being a 1v1 situation, but this is something that tells me that I think that in Cash, in key situation like this, even in LG was expecting what Tyloo was doing. Their execute just wasn't good enough on the defense. They just kept not being able to get the kills, even though they were in favorable positions. So ended up being a 16-14 game for Tyloo. Now we're moving on to Inferno, which was the last map, obviously. Now this is a round where, as you can see, LG is on a really weak buy. They have 2 CZs. There's a AK here, a Mag 7 and another CZ, and they also don't have a lot of resources, only 1 Molotov, a couple of smokes, but they still decide to go, we can play the clip now, they still decide to go for banana control early on. They go for this, we can pause it here, they go for this aggressive smoke, which is pretty common, but as you can see, they only throw 2 grenades. This is FNX with the AK right here. Cold Zero will come with the CZ. And what you usually do in a situation like this is you have a Molotov for this area here in the trees, and you throw this second Molotov in the pillars. So if the terrorists are doing what Tyloo is doing here, if they're running through the smoke, they take a lot of damage from the Molotov, basically. And now, obviously, because Luminosity didn't have a strong economy, they couldn't do that exactly. But what they should have done, if they already wanted to go for banana control, is send an extra player there, right? So they can get the trade. Here they trade 2 for 2, and that allows Tyloo to rotate back and so on. This is an example of what I feel Luminosity being a bit too greedy in their play. They wanted to do too much, but they didn't have enough resources for it. We can play out the rest of the clip now. As you can see, they will get a 2 for 2 trade, which will always favor the terrorists, especially in a situation where the cities also have a weak buy. They even checked the spot where Taco was, and Tyloo wins a really, really important round. And we have another replay from Inferno. It is what the casters and what Robin was talking about as well, the Molotov strat on B. As you can see, this is what was really interesting about Tyloo's play. They would always leave map control, all of banana, basically most of apps as well. So that allows the terrorists to do pretty much whatever they want. And even if they have 2 players in the bomb site and Mo is quick on the rotate towards B, the strat that LG uses, we can play the clip now. What they do with a bunch of Molotovs is, we can pause it here. Basically, it allows them to eliminate all these positions, which they don't even have to check. So you will see later, the player that runs in can only focus on this spot, maybe this pillar, the emo spot or dark, and coils as well. But those spots are all on this side of the map. So it makes it much easier for them. They only have to watch for a player maybe running in through CT as well, flashing himself in. But it makes it a lot easier for the terrorists. And it is something that you can run over and over again, basically, because it allows you, what disables you from doing this is when you have to fight for banana control, waste a lot of resources. And LG didn't have to do that. We can play the rest of the clip to see how the round plays out. You can see here the Cold Zero, who is the first player running in. Basically, you can see him straight away getting the kill and looking right. And it enables his team after that to get the good trades. He got the info that the second player was in dark. And this was a pretty straightforward round for LG. And it was interesting to me that they didn't try to replicate this strat again, because even if Tyloo know that it's coming in a sense, it's really hard to defend for it because you're limited in the spots you can play from.
I see you nodding, Robin. You agree with Janko there.
Yeah, completely. I mean, that's exactly what I was talking about. That particular round just shows that when you play seat side the way that Tyloo did, there are ways to counter that. Quite actually, there's a lot of ways. You could even had a smoke round on the bomb side and plant towards CT spawn, and you have running into towards the.
But Fnatic used to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a lot of options, but for Luminosity, after they won that round, you never saw rounds like that that actually happen again. They tried to just execute B without the Molotovs, maybe with just a smoke in towards spawn, and then you saw the perfect counter flash coming from Tyloo, and then you just sandwich everyone.
The one thing I feel I have to mention though about Tyloo City side is, okay, they were giving a lot of room, but when they realized that they gave up too much space and maybe were a man down, they went for these gambles. You could see at one round they were 4v5. They sent 3 players towards the B bomb site, knowing that they were risking. If they go B, then we have a chance to defend it. If they go A, we can just save the weapons. And it paid off. And also, one particular spot seemed to cause a lot of problems for Luminosity in that second half. It was the graveyard spot. You could see a couple of times Tyloo players just hiding there, biding their time. And it's not something you're used to in the Western scene. When there's one player anchoring the A bomb site by himself, defending a fake or something like that, he's usually in pit. It is probably the strongest position, and they were expecting a bunch of times a player there where a player would actually be in graveyard and
I want
get
to point out one thing on the cash clip you had as well.
Nice and quick, Robin.
Yeah, super quick. When you saw the B split there that they did, look at how Tyloo actually took over that site. In a Western team, they would have 1 or 2 guys running in towards that site. Tyloo had 4. They just manhandled that site completely. And I mean, if this was any other team, Luminosity will probably get those 2 kills, still defend the bomb side, and then you're in this tough situation on the T side. So like I said, take this away from Tyloo. I mean, if you want to take a bomb side, that's one way to do it.
No one on the desk saw this coming. No one at home probably saw this coming. A whole lot of Chinese fans and a whole lot of European fans probably very happy to see Tyloo have a little bit of bite to their bark. The boys have a spot now in the quarterfinals, joining the other 4 that picked it up yesterday. It has been a fantastic game for Tyloo. They will not forget this one for a while as the Chinese side beats the major champions. The major champions are out in groups and all from a team that a lot of people didn't have too many answers, too many kind of too much knowledge surrounding Tyloo. They, however, have done it. Overpass was a little blip on the radar, but they came into Inferno with a lot of beautiful CS in Moses' words, and Tyloo do take LG out. They are gone. Just one Brazilian team remains in DreamHack Masters Malmö, and we'll be back after the break with CLG Godsend.